Hello everyone. Mercury will go retrograde in the sign of Aries at 9 degrees on March 15th. So we're going to talk about that a little bit and the themes that will play out with this Mercury retrograde because it is very important. It will be conjunct the Venus retrograde cycle that is taking place at the same time that Mercury will be retrograding. So there are themes of Venus and Mercury during this uh, retrograde. So first, let's talk about the dates. March 1st to the 14th will be the pre-shadow. March 15th, Mercury will go retrograde until April 6th. And then from April 7th to the 26th, there will be the post-shadow, which will be the ending of the cycle. And on May 30th, you'll have the Kazemi aspect, and that will give you the big awareness to the whole cycle from March 1st all the way until April 26th. So I labeled this transit Every Day I'm Hustling. Every day I'm hustling. If you ever heard the Rick Ross song called Money on My Mind, this will be the theme of the Mercury retrograde because Venus will be a part of it. So Mercury will start its pre-shadow, and when it starts its pre-shadow, it's basically a day after a new moon that we'll have in Pisces at 9 degrees. And this is going to be an interesting Mercury retrograde because Sirius enters in the mix as soon as this new moon is taking place. And then shortly after, Venus starts its retrogression at 10 degrees of Aries. So it's like as soon as Mercury goes into its shadow, Venus is now going in its retrogression phase. And in astrology, Mercury and Venus are basically really good companions and friends. They're personal planets that actually work really well together because Mercury is the lens through which we perceive the world and how we process and communicate our thoughts to others. And Venus is your relatability, how you relate to yourself and others, the connection that you have to your physical body and to intimacy, which is sharing, and what you value, and basically how you spend your money on things, and what are the things that you spend your money on from the money that you earn from your work, or the money that is given to you by other people's resources. So because this transit is so important for Mercury, the two houses that are going to be affected are going to be the second and the sixth house, which is how you earn your money, your job, your 9 to 5, the skills and talents that you have, and all of those things, all that is going to go through a shift with this Mercury retrograde. While the post shadow is taking place, you can be noticing that there are going to be shifts in either your work or your schedule at work, your routine, your daily habits. The people that you communicate with in your day may change and there may be a shift. The way that your relationships are, you may want to talk more or less to people because when the planets go retrograde, it's really a time for you to be in a reflection mode. It's a time to reprocess things. It's also a time where you will see a different perspective of things. Now, during the retrogression on March 25th, Mercury will meet the Sun, and there will be a Kazemi aspect happening where there will be a message, and Mercury will be basically burned or enlightened by the Sun. Now, I say enlightened because if you are aware of things that you need to do and you're making conscious efforts, it's usually an enlightenment. If you're not, you're usually getting burned by these kind of aspects. I pulled a tarot card and I got the Judgment card for this Mercury retrograde cycle. And the Judgment card is all about a rebirthing that is taking place. So it's like Mercury and Venus are going into the underworld together. And Sirius is not far behind. There was a conjunction of Sirius and I think Pluto earlier this year in January. So Sirius is definitely a part of this story with Mercury and Venus. And Ceres is the way that, again, you feed yourself, the kind of work that you do every day to feed yourself, the way you were nurtured, the way your parents took care of you, the way that you now take care of yourself due to the way that you were nurtured when you were young. So the kind of work you do also is very big with Ceres. So after the 25th, on the 29th, there will be an Aries solar eclipse. And with this Aries solar eclipse, Mercury will be conjunct the moon and the sun. So this can be an opportunity for multiple relationships, money opportunities, demands even being made in relationships, or letting go of those things in relationships. I would definitely advise you during this transit to keep your business really to yourself and only share things that you feel you don't mind other people repeating, because with Mercury and Venus together, there's a strong energy of communication and communication with a lot of other people, which can lead to a lot of bad press, gossip, and backbiting. Sometimes you may tell someone something and it can just be regurgitated a whole nother way that you didn't say. So I would definitely say to keep receipts on the things that you say to people. So example, if you work somewhere and you say something to someone, um, back it up with an email to very much kind of protect yourself, because Saturn and Ceres are going to be a part of this transit. So you want to make sure that you are looking through paperwork, looking through your contracts at work, looking at your agreements that you're signing, because there is a negotiation with this Mercury and Venus retrograding together. Okay, so who you're discussing your thoughts with, I would say do that with people that you trust, because not all information or perspectives are going to be shared at this point. You want to ask yourself too during this Mercury retrograde, do you have a good relationship with money? Do you have a good relationship with your friends, your family, your children, your colleagues, your emotional body, and the instinctual energy that comes up right away when something or someone or place is is mentioned, or you go somewhere and you feel a way? Because it's happening in Aries and Pisces, it's going from water to fire. So you want to tap into the emotional and the instinctual at the same time. This is going to be a great time for entrepreneurs when Mercury and Venus are going to be retrograding, and creatives. So it will be a really great time to revamp your business ideas or to revamp your artistic work, because there's going to be opportunities for new connections with different people, and new people or people from the past may come back up, friends from the past, connections from the past, and it can come up like really quick because it's going to be happening in Aries, and or connecting through Pisces, which is very kind of, you thought about the person, all of a sudden the person is communicating or contacting you. So when Mercury will move direct, which is April 7th, it will be conjunct Venus and Saturn in Pisces. And at this time, this is going to be very interesting, because whatever was taking place late January and mid February, the energy will begin to finally move forward, and the planets will be slowly moving forward as well. So Mercury will be direct, Venus will be direct, Mars will be direct, and you'll have a better understanding. So this is pretty serious, okay, this time that I'm giving you, because the asteroid Ceres will also be conjuncting Venus and Saturn. And you may want to look at the dynamics at your work and ask yourself, do you feel like you have healthy relationships here? Do you feel like you're making enough money there? Do you feel like you're feeding yourself properly? Your relationships feed you properly? Do you feel like the people in your life that are voluntary, the ones that you choose, do you feel like you've chosen the right relationships? If not, this can be a time that you can see outcome happening around this time. Now, on May 30th, the Sun and Mercury will have an aspect of called a Kazemi, and this aspect will be the judgment card, basically, where the awareness will happen, the conclusion of something will take place, or the start of something fresh, fresh energy, fresh news. I would say this is kind of like a saving grace energy that will take place around the time of this Kazemi with Mercury retrograding, because you can see the theme playing out of all the time frame that I just gave you, from basically from March until now. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope you guys enjoy this Mercury retrograde that we're going to be having. It is going to be a game changer for a lot of people if you put effort into the changes that you want to make in your relationships and the way that you connect with other people. So thank you guys very much, and I'll see you in the next video. The tarot card featured in this video is brought to you by the Ebony Tarot. I will leave a link in the description box below if you're interested in purchasing this deck. And I'll be doing a presentation on the deck